Good evening, lovely troopers. White Mexican back again for another video here. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the legendary, the infamous, the elite Labyrinth Nightmare. So we're just going to get right into this, starting out here with the last warrior from another planet. Again, we're always looking at the near mints and lightly playeds here on TCG Player. None on the first page. First editions are on the third page, and they're going for about 18 bones across the board. So $18, and there's a couple other pages here as it slowly, gradually moves up, but about 18 bones for first edition Last Warrior. Gemini Elf, this kind of is like Dark Magician Girl. The OCG work is completely superior in artwork, so I don't really collect this anymore. Ever since I started collecting OCG original print uncensored artwork cards, I don't really pay much mind to the TCG versions of those cards. Magic Cylinder, super awesome. Pretty easy to get around, but a really awesome old school card, which I think is pretty hilarious because depending on what your opponent's swinging with, you can essentially just blow them out and win with his cards. So, and the first editions are fetching a pretty nice price these days. This card is ancient. First editions are going for about 13, and then they jump quickly to 20, and then 20 plus. So those are a pretty nice amount right now for the first edition Magic Cylinders original print. Mask of Restrict, kind of a cheap Floodgate, really slow, not really kind of high caliber Floodgate for Monarchs, True Draco. Not even really True Dracos because it only says any monsters. And I know True Dracos use magic and trap cards to tribute some of their monsters, so not very effective for them. But all around, this is the highest rarity. I believe there was an OTS super rare, which is like $1. It's not really a big deal. This is the original print and the highest rarity though. Kind of struggling to find some first editions here. First edition is about $7, so I don't think I have any of these cards first edition. I definitely wouldn't buy it for $7. That's definitely overpriced for what it is. It's just kind of an alternative Floodgate, but not too powerful. Torrential Tribute. So if you want to get a first edition original print ultra rare from this core set, it's going to be pretty expensive. I think it's like around $15 or so. Yeah, $15 for the first edition, and then moves quickly into the early 20s. But honestly, there's such amazing versions, and even higher rarities. There's the Hobby League 4, which again I don't recommend because it's a little thicker and it's got kind of weird bend to it because it was made by like Upper Deck or something like that. I'm not gonna lie, I really am a big fan of original print first editions. Those look really awesome in the ultra foiling. Surprisingly, the Gold Series does not look too bad either. I really don't personally like Gold Series, but like the first 2 or 3 Gold Series, they actually look really smooth and did like the gold flash foiling really well. But more specifically, I want to talk about the secret rare from Legendary Collection 4. I always talk about this set. I don't think there's been a single market watch investment video that I've done where I haven't referred back to this set. This and Legendary Collection 3, Yugioh's World, amazing sets, really awesome staple cards and high rarities. Definitely check it out. And these first editions are like $2, and this card is completely unlocked. This card is completely unlocked in the game right now. It is at 3. You can play 3 copies. It nukes the field as soon as a card's summoned. Amazing artwork. Such a powerful card. You know, for the longest time, this card was at 1, and now we have this card fully unlocked at 3, and it's just pretty incredible how many people don't play this. I understand it's pretty hard. It's constraining with this meta. You gotta be really tactical with your choices. But this is an awesome price for this card. First edition secret rare, highest rarity, blowout card, $2. You guys need to get on it. Mage Power is kind of been power crept a little bit. It's still a really cool utility card. I mess around with it here and there with my anti-mana builds. The first editions are going for about $6, so there's only one first edition, so if you have first edition of Mage Power's original print, I would definitely consider listing them. You can probably get a pretty fine price from seeing how there's only one listing on here. But just a cool card, you know, one of the more powerful, you know, definitely really popular equipped cards of the game. It's awesome. You know, I'd be Stan, kind of just bouncing off Mage Power, just kind of goes off a different way. You go by monsters and you get a little bit more of a boost by 3. for the first, there's only 3 pages of this, and it's $6, about $6 for the first editions, and it moves on up from there. So this has, just like Mage Power, these are some of my all-time favorite equipped Magic cards. I love their artworks. The artworks look really, really awesome. The original prints are the highest rarities we currently have here for these in the TCG, so just something to consider. Dark Necrofear. So I was watching the tube earlier today, and I noticed a video came on by another YouTuber slash content creator who mentioned a duelist pack Bakura, and there's some new support coming out basically for his decks and his stuff, and there's a new Dark Necrofear card that's coming out that looks really, really cool. It has awesome artwork. I've always loved this card. This card is instantly one of my top favorites for collector's market value for artwork wise. I think the artwork this is one of the finest artwork cards we have here in the TCG. I'm really biased because I really like, Dark World, and we don't really play this in Dark World, but it's a fiend, and it's just a very sinister, like, kind of alien appeal got going on with the baby and everything. I really, really love the artwork in this card. Not too much of a strong card in general by itself, but maybe with the new support, maybe it'll see the light of day in play, who knows. But all around, just an awesome card. The original print first editions are pretty expensive. It's about $7, only 2 pages here. And then it quickly moves into 10 and then tops off at 28. So the original print first editions, realistically, people can argue is the best, but in my personal opinion, there is many, many, many awesome prints in this card. My top picks specifically would not be the original print ultra rare. It would be first, number 1, the secret rare from Master Collections Volume 1. Again, this is kind of like Legendary Collection 3 and 4. I always continuously go back and dip into this set. I love this set. The Master Collection Volumes 1 and 2 have really awesome, deep, beautiful secret rare foiling. This is currently the highest rarity that we have here for Dark Necrofear here in the TCG, and it is just insanely cheap. It is like $50 all across the board, 3 pages left, so I would definitely recommend picking up a playset of this if you don't have it, just for its sheer price and amazing rarity and just awesome, awesome artwork. And of course, there is the Dual Terminal 2 rare, which is also another really awesome rarity. I personally have both the Dual Terminal rare and the secret rares. In my opinion, these are the best rarities. There's only 2 pages of this left. This is slowly dwindling. There used to be a lot more last year. Only 2 pages left, and these are still well under $1, so take your pick. It's well under $1 for the Dual Terminal rare and the secret rare, so whatever you guys prefer. Jar Greed is a slow 1-for-1. This is basically like a slow version of Upstart Goblin without your opponent gaining life points. That's just a quick 1-for-1, simple as that. I just love draw power, and I'm always fascinated with building different strategies with draw power, getting kind of the advantage on your opponent with draw power, such as like Reckless Greed as well. It's an awesome card. And the first editions are $1, less than $1. Well, I guess technically a little over $1 is shipping. There's 2 here, first edition. And this is the highest rarity. We didn't get a lot of rarities. The majority of the rarities that we got, or the prints, were commons. Really beautiful, super rare. I love the foiling of the old school, first generation cards. And there's not a lot of first editions here. It looks like there's only 4 listings of first editions, and it quickly moves into $3. So, just an alternative. I mean, it's slow because it's a trap card, but it is a simple 1-for-1. So simplicity is gold. Card of Safe Return. This is currently a banned card. This card, I say in all my videos, I'm a huge adamant fan that every card comes off the ban list eventually, regardless if it gets errated or not. This is just one of those cards you just cannot deny. When it comes off the ban list, there is no doubt in my mind that this is getting errated. There's no possible way for this card to see the light of day coming off the forbidden list without being errated. It's just too ridiculous of a card in this day and meta and age of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's too ridiculous. But with that being said, I'm pretty sure that this original print ultra is the highest rarity. Unless if you consider parallel ultra technically a higher rarity, but then again, like I always say, you gotta be really careful with these hobby league stuff because it's a little bit of a thicker card. And depending on what tier of tournament you're playing, you want to be really careful. You don't want to be called out for that. So in my opinion, I personally favor the original print Ultra First Edition, which we're going to find out how much that is going for. Which is about $4 and moves into $6 and then quickly goes up from there. So I personally wouldn't buy it for that price. This card has been banned forever, and it's going to take a really long time for it to come off the ban list. I don't see it coming off the ban list anytime soon, and even when it does, it's going to get a huge errata. But just for nostalgic value, it's got cool artwork, and it's a ridiculously powerful card, and just an old school busted card. So it is what it is for that. Royal Command, this is also kind of like another cheap Floodgate. Flip effects aren't really used anymore. They're just really kind of too slow for the game state right now. I'm pretty sure like the last big push we saw for flip effects was like Shadal's and Subterrors, I think was the last big popular, even with Guru coming out. Subterror Control has been kind of a merging deck. There's only 3 pages of this, no first editions on the first page or the second page. And there's 2 on the last page, and they're $7 and then quickly moved to $12. So there you go. This is almost bought out for the first editions. Awesome artwork. I really love this old school combat armor and just kind of just awesome artwork in general. But not necessarily the best choice. There definitely is other alternatives, but you know, it's a simple Floodgate. It's a simple 1-for-1 Floodgate. So Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. This card's super awesome. I think this is a really underrated card. I really like it because it's a level 4, really good for any kind of generic XYZ. It's a dark, and it is also a spellcaster that fits into a lot of decks pretty easily. It's pretty cool. Unfortunately, this card got changed. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, when it was originally printed, it said you can remove any 2 cards from your opponent's graveyard, not just specifically monster cards. I could be wrong, but to my understanding, I'm pretty sure that it used to be any card, so you could remove traps and magic as well, which would make this card a lot more favorable, because there's a lot of things, you know, magics and traps even now that you want to be careful about removing from your opponent's graveyard. But more so the effect, the last effect here, where your opponent cannot remove cards in either graveyard from play. That is a really powerful standalone card, and this card's stats not that bad. I mean, being a level 4, 1800 attack, being splashable with its being a dark attribute, really popular in Spellcaster. Also, a lot of decks that play Spellcasters. Just a really awesome card. And there is a secret rare available from, again, the infamous Legendary 3 or 4, I can't remember. It is Legendary Collection 3, the Yugioh's World. And let's just take a look at that really quick. Technically, this is the highest rarity, and they're $1. They're like $1 across the board for first edition near mints. This is just the first page here. There's plenty to pick from, but they're about $1 for the first editions. These look really nice. Me personally, for this particular card, for Kaiko, I would go for the original print super rares. The secret rares look pretty nice, but it's just personal preference. I mean, it's up to you. If I was going to get this card, I know personally myself, I have original print first edition super rares. And let's just take a look at those price points really quick. Again, it's just something about these old school Generation 1 super rares. I just really love the foiling. It's just really deep, really predominant. And just they're hard to get, you know, as time goes on. Like we're not making more of these. These cards are ancient. Like they're like going on almost 20 years old. So it's pretty crazy. $2. So the first edition here is $2 on the third page. And then it gets into $2.33, and then about $3, and then moves on from there. So a couple dollars. I'm gonna leave it up to you. I mean, obviously, the secret rare is significantly cheaper, but I would value the original print more. But if you guys want to buy into that, I'll leave that subjectively up to you guys. Fusion Gate's a pretty cool card too. Is there a hollow version of this? Did we all just get commons? There's a rare. Oh, okay, we did get one. Oh, we got 2 super rares. Wow. Okay, so I didn't know this. We got a super rare in Fusion Enforcers, which is like about a $50 for first edition, and Legendary Collections 3. There you go. Again, the legendary set. One of the legendary sets. How much is this one? Is it super as well? Super. So 2 super rare prints, and they're about $1. So still, this is kind of cool. I really like this card a lot. There's kind of mixed feelings about fusion summons. It's always something that kind of goes in and out of the meta. But a standalone in general, I think this is just a really solid fusion support card just in general. Also kind of like the recycling plant. I forget what it's called. Maybe it'll show up on here. Fusion recycling plant, I believe is what it's called. But anyway, I don't want to veer off too far from topic, but that's pretty cool. There's 2 super rare options to choose from, both really cheap. Out of these 2, personally, I would go for the Legendary Collections 3 super rare, but they're both extremely cheap, so I'll leave it up to you guys. Fire Princess. This is something I added to my artwork collector's value thing. I think the artwork is amazing on this. If you look at this up close in real life, it has just, again, I keep on saying this, super rare foiling from these Generation 1 sets is really awesome, nice and crisp. I'm really biased for this card. I don't think her effect's that bad either. I think there's definitely potential for, future burn deck supports to utilize this card and kind of maybe create an OTK loop or whatever. But honestly, this is just, again, an ancient card. There was an ultra rare, there was a rarity bump again in, I want to say Legendary Collections 3 or 4. Legendary Collections 3, there's a rarity bump here for ultra rare, which I don't think I have these. I don't think I've ever gotten the ultra rares. I know I have first edition original super rares, which I really like a lot. It's really cool that they got a rarity bump here, and it's under like not under $1, about a $50 for the first edition ultra rares. So these are really nice too. I'm really mixed because it's cool because it's a rarity bump, and again, Legendary Collection 3, one of my favorite sets. But honestly, again, kind of like Kaiko, I would go for the original print super rares. Unfortunately, I think it's going to probably be a little bit more expensive, but for what it's worth, this card is ancient, and there is, well, not that too many, 4 pages on the market, so the well is starting to dry on this card, and it's not even $2. It's about $2. It's about $2 for the first editions here for the super rare. So I don't think that is too much to ask for. $2 for original print super rare from a really ancient set, original generation core set. Awesome artwork, and then maybe one day this Fire Princess will be added into the collector's market for badass artwork, but who knows? Only time will tell. Xiaogan the Spiritualist. This is another. I've only heard one content creator ever really talk about this. I don't follow too many content creators, but there has been one who believes that this card should be banned, depending on what Konami decides to do, how far Konami decides to unlock spellbooks, kind of releasing the reins a little bit on spellbooks. I know that's a fan favorite deck that people have been trying to kind of get Konami to release a little bit more of their stuff. This, I think, is an awesome. The one thing I don't like about this is how you have to randomly. I didn't really pay attention to that before, but it unfortunately has to be a random discard, so you can't choose which card you want to pitch for it. But literally, you pitch a card, you blow out all special summon monsters on the field, and then it's basically a Fossil Dyna. No player can special summon monsters. And it is a spellcaster, and it's a light, and it's a level 3, which just really is splashable in pretty much, any spellcaster / maybe fairy light deck, whatever have you. And unfortunately, we still do not have a hollow foil. I think for what this is, how it can clear the field with one pitch and then also stop special summoning. Really low stats, but obviously you're going to play this in like anti-meta or something where you can really defend it very well, very effectively. We got 2 rare prints and then a plethora of commons. I would personally go for the original print rare here. And let's take a look here what the first editions are going for. There's plenty on the market, 5+ pages. No first editions on the first page. 70 cents for the first edition on the second page. A one of, and then it's again 75 cents, 78 cents, 80, and then I'm sure it moves into about the dollar range after that. So plenty of one of, so maybe an add-on if you guys are making a bigger purchase on here. But all around, just a really great card. I really think it deserves a secret rare, at least a super rare. I'm biased for secret rare. I think it would look amazing in secret rare. I just wanted to cover this card really quick because this card had a name change, which I didn't really know until recently, until I started investing in Dark Lord, a Dark World decor, which I want to do a video about. I want to get better about kind of doing more diverse videos. The last couple of days I've really just only been doing Generation 1 videos because I've really enjoyed them so much, but I definitely plan on getting back into my decor series again eventually. But this card was originally called Marry the Fallen One, so it's pretty cool. I just like how like name change stuff. I'm really into that. It's kind of like a collector's thing for me. But it was actually changed to Dark Lord Mary when we got our Destiny Soldiers set here, super rare. So rarity bump, and then changed it to be part of the Dark Lord archetype, which is pretty cool. I just wanted to say that. I don't know. I just got a thing for original names and stuff when they get changed. This is my MVP of the Magic cards for this set for sure. Apparently, this card was a short print. I don't know if that's true. There was somewhere on TCG Player that said it was a short print. I don't really specifically remember where. Or maybe I'm just going crazy. But anyway, there again, I just looked through only common versions, 3 different options of commons here. And, of course, obviously, in my opinion, you want to go for the original print first edition because it has the magic stamp here in the corner, and it's the original print. Really awesome artwork. It basically just stops everything for a turn, and it's continuous, so it's a floater. But, you know, really easy to go around, really kind of a slow card, you know, definitely easy to just, like, pop off the field. But your opponent has to raise a resource for that, and there's something about this card, I just really love this card. It reminds me, basically, this card, like, rendered this card, which I talked about in one of my other Generation 1 Market Watch videos. It basically does what this card does. This one's a field card. But it only like stops it for the turn, for one turn that it's summoned, and it's only one, like it has to be like a particular archetype or a monster type. Whereas this card, it's literally just all monsters. You just slap it down. Instead of being a field card, it's just a normal magic card. You slap it down, and the first turn a card is summoned, regardless if it's flip, special, whatever, normal. It can't attack. So unfortunately, in my opinion, honestly, I kind of run into these instances, and I like to mention them when I notice them. I really feel that Vengeful Bog Spirit literally just makes Array of Revealing Light inferior, like pretty much in every way. I don't know if you guys feel that there's like a way you want to use this over Vengeful Bog Spirit, but personally I just feel that this card just completely rendered this card obsolete, essentially. But moving on here, first editions are about a $half, and then second page we quickly move into about $1 plus. So, and there's only 4 pages on the market. So, you know, I just think it's a really cool card. That's all I'm gonna really say about that. Kind of a card under the radar card. This is kind of a cool card too, for like a little burn card. You know, if you're playing a removal deck, maybe kind of like it's continuous too. So if you have a lot of cards removed from play, or your opponent does, it's just kind of, you know, an alternative. I'm really into, like, I really love this, like the removal DD burn, DD dynamite burn decks. I really like messing around with this. So this could be an alternative. I'm pretty sure we only got commons for this. Yeah, 2 commons, Dark Beginning and the original print first edition. So plenty on the market here, 5+ pages, and it's like 15 cents for the first editions. So it's just a choice there. Dark Door. This is another really awesome card too. It kind of reminds me of the Bog Spirit card that I just covered. Basically, both players can only attack with one monster, and it's, you know, continuous magic. Super awesome. Really cool artwork. A couple different versions. I think there was a rare. A rare was the highest. Yeah, a rare print was made in Legendary Collection 3, Infamous set. Go check it out. Let's go take a look at what those first editions are looking like. About 25 cents, 26 cents, 65 cents. So well under $1 for the rare reprints. But personally, you know, even though this is a small rarity bump with the Legendary Collection set, I would go for the original print first edition because it has the magic card stamp again, and it is the original print, even though it is a common. This is a really cool card. This is a really cool Floodgate. This card is ancient, and I think it's kind of just something that people have utterly just forgotten about and has fallen into the black abyss of the past. But for what it is, I think it's a standalone, really powerful card for what it is, especially with all these crazy decks popping off, attacking with all these high-attack monsters. And it's going to kind of just slow down the game state a little bit if you have a little bit of a slower deck. So I think this is a really awesome card. I definitely mess around with this with my anti-meta decks. And the original print is like 25 cents, 27 cents. There's 5+ pages on the market here. And then it quickly moves into about $0.50. So plenty to choose from. I think it's just an awesome, healthy alternative. If you have a slower deck that you're trying to kind of build up some time to pop off. This card's pretty cool. It's just Earth support. I think it's just pretty cool how you just remove an Earth monster and then you special summon this and it gets a 300 boost, which really, realistically, is not a big deal. Only makes it a 2K beater. But it's just cool how, depending on what you're playing, and later on in this video, there's a fire monster. It's like Spirit of the Flames or something. It's basically the same thing, except it's just for like same stats and everything, just for fire monsters or fire decks. But if you're playing a deck where you want to have your Earth monsters removed from play, this is pretty cool because I think it's kind of underlooked because you can slap this on board and then plus off your whatever card you remove, depending on what its effect, if it gets a plus from being removed. So you're basically just specialing a level 4, you know, part of your deck, rock, earth, whatever, if that's what you're running, and you can plus off your removal depending on what you are planning to remove, which I think is pretty cool. It's just a really simple potential +1. And it's cool just to slap a body on board for essentially free, because banishing one from the graveyard is just not hard to do it at all. This card, I never really read this card before. It's kind of slow, because, I mean, you have to find a way to slap it on board quick and easy, and it's kind of just, like, stays there. And, of course, it's low stats, so your opponent can just run over it with anything. But it's really cool. You just, you tribute it. During your opponent's turn, you can tribute it, and you can negate any magic card. It doesn't say specifically like a normal magic card, a quick play, a continuous, any magic card. You just pop it off, and it's just a quick effect. Whatever they just, whatever they want to slap on board, they have to. Just makes your opponent think a little bit. They have to decide like, are they going to waste their battle phase first, run this over, and then play their magics, which is really easy to do. But for how old this card is, it's a pretty powerful effect. It's a pretty diverse effect to have for being so old, and I just think it's just a cool card in general. To have that to where it's on the board and you just pop it off to negate a magic card, I think is really a really strong thing. So I think this was definitely ahead of its time for when it was made. Only 2 prints, both common, of course. Original print, first editions, none on the first page. Let's check the second here. Well under $1, a quarter dollar, pretty much across the board, and then I'm sure there's 5+ pages, so not a hard card to get. Kind of odd artwork there, but it's cool too how it's a water too. Again, I got a really big thing for water decks. I really want to make a water deck here once in a while. So, Skull Lair is kind of an interesting card. Not really too much of a big deal. I just like how it's continuous, and depending again if you're playing a deck where you plus from removing your monsters from play, if they get kind of special effects, essentially you could potentially pop off your opponent's monsters. Another thing is this isn't a hard once per turn. It's a continuous trap card. It's not a hard once per turn, so depending on if you have a big graveyard and you want to remove your monsters from play, they get additional effects from removing them, and you get to do some destruction with it too. So Only commons on this one as well, I believe. Yeah, just 2 commons, same as other card. But yeah, just an ancient card who's just, you know, not really seen the right place to fit in. Probably used way long back in the day, but a lot of these cards are like that. They're just super old. This card's pretty cool too for fusion support. Slow because it's a flip effect, but it's pretty awesome how you can summon any fusion monster. There's no really restrictions on this. Obviously, you're going to want to defend this and use this on your turn, so whatever you're popping off, you can use this effect or do whatever you want to do with it, and so it doesn't just get destroyed at the end phase. But I just thought that was kind of a neat effect. Again, it's unfortunate that it is a flip effect because it makes it slow. But it's cool how it's really splashable. It's a level 3, so really good for extra deck stuff material. It's a light, it's a spellcaster. Really, really splashable stats with that. And there was a super rare reprint that we got, I believe, in Fusion Enforcers, which is literally a dime minus. So I would definitely get the super rare. It's really cool. There's a lot of kind of neat things that came out of Fusion Enforcers that I think a lot of people just kind of disregard, to myself included. This card's pretty cool too. It's slow. It kind of reminds me of like a Fiendish Chain in Magic form. The thing that's cool about this is it's recyclable. It is slow because it takes 2 turns to pop off the card, but it's cool how it doesn't let your opponent's monster attack, and it is recyclable. That's the 2 coolest things about this card. It's not technically as good as like Fiendish Chain or Fiendish Chain is kind of just what I'm thinking about right now, because Fiendish Chain does negate the effect and they can attack. And technically on what you're playing, like if you play it in Satellars like I do, it's recyclable as well. But this is kind of just a healthy alternative, I think. It's pretty cool. It's a really ancient card, only a few different common versions. I used to play this back in the day when I first started playing the game. This card was actually really, really powerful back then. Kind of phased out too slow now, but really cool artwork too. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to kind of over talk on this card. It's about a quarter for the first edition original print, a quarter all down the board, and there's 9 here. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Spirit of Flames. This was the fire attribute support one that I was talking about. So it does the same thing the Earth one does, except it's just for fire. You remove 1, you slap this on board, it gets a 300 boost during your battle phase. And depending on, you know, if they make a deck where you want to remove your fire monsters, I think that this is pretty cool. It's a free special summon, free body on board, and then you could potentially plus depending on what you remove from play. I'm sorry, I kind of went through that really fast. These are kind of like side cards. There's only a few cards I really wanted to put a lot of heavy emphasis on. And I kind of wanted to just briefly touch on that earth and that fire guy. But just as a quick reference, again, this is the same thing. We only got, I'm pretty sure, commons for this card. Yeah, they're just 2, yeah, just 2 commons. Oh wow, not even a Dark Beginning reprint. That's pretty crazy. So just two prints of this on the TCG. Original print first edition common is going for 20 cents, 20 cents. So like about like a quarter for this card for first edition. So there's that for you guys. Supply, again, slow because it's a flip effect, unfortunately, but back in the day, flip effects were a really big deal. I think it's just pretty cool. Fusion support, it's got a recyclable effect, so it is what it is. And this is a solo print. I really like showcasing solo prints, too. There's something really special about solo prints. I'm really into that. So this card is ancient. It's pretty amazing that it has not been reprinted because, again, this set is like almost 20 years old or something like that. And this is a solo print for Supply. Tornado Bird's pretty cool too. This has got another recyclable effect. Unfortunately, it is a flip effect as well. Flip effects were a really big deal back in the day. Pretty much too slow for the meta now, but just in general. This is the original print rare. And I only thought about this because, you know, I mess around with Satellar Knights once in a while, and I really get into different ways of recycling my magics and traps. So, you know, if I Fiendish Chain something, I'm not obviously going to play this. It doesn't have the stats to fit in a light warrior deck like Satellar Knights, but Let's check out some other versions here, just some other commons. So this original print's the definitely the best one to go with. And the first editions are about 20 cents. And then moving on, it gets to, you know, it's still just about a quarter. So it's cool how it's a wind wing beast too. So maybe like in harpies, if harpies come out with magic and traps that can be recyclable or reused, that maybe a tech choice. Maybe that's kind of stretching it. But another thing with this card literally just got like rendered inferior, like useless, like so useless to this card. As soon as this card came out, Burial from a Different Dimension, like I see no reason. This is a quick play, and it can be up to 3, so you get the choice. So it could literally just be 1 card that's removed, and you can return it, or 2 or 3 cards. So it's a lot more flexible, and it's a quick play, and so even more flexible on how you play it. Where this is a normal Magic card, and it has to be 5 or more, and it has to be, yeah, I don't know. This is unfortunately, in my opinion, this has got really cool artwork, but it's literally just got rendered useless when we got Burial from a Different Dimension. It just kind of blew this card off the map, unfortunately, in my personal opinion. This card's kind of cool for fairy light decks. Again, it's kind of another thing that you just slap body on board by removing 2 light monsters in your graveyard, and then it gets a 300 boost. But you know, not really a big deal. Just the sheer fact that it is a light fairy, stats aren't that bad, and you can just slap it on board again, depending if there is things in your graveyard, light monsters that get effects from being removed from play. It's a free body on board, and you can plus off your effects from removal, depending on what you're playing. So, just a choice here. I'm pretty sure this is only common. Yes, it is common, a couple different commons all across the board. Of course, you're going to want to get the original print first edition, which is about 11 cents, 14 cents. There's plenty in the market, so well under a quarter for this card. Pretty cool artwork, too. Emperor's Holiday. Simple Floodgate. Negate the effects of all equipped spell cards. So I'm sure there's tons of alternatives that could maybe be better choice. No one really plays Noble Knights, but Noble Knights, you know, if there's things that come out like Noble Knights that use a crap ton of equip spells, I mean, why not? This is a simple 1-for-1, as simple as it gets. Floodgate. This is the original print first edition, and it's like 15-14 cents. Plenty on the market, and just a plethora of commons we have here. Just 3 different common versions. I would definitely recommend getting the original print. But there's that. And I'm pretty sure that, if I'm not mistaken, that was the last card that I prepped to showcase for this set. There really wasn't anything else that I saw of any kind of significance. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I hope you guys learned something, or got some good piece of information in this video. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next video.